Forgot my cool effects. Woohoo. Where are they? Well, we're live. That's like the only one I ever use on this, and then I shut it off.
It makes me feel great.
So, thank you everybody for showing up for Author Chat. This is the first show. Hopefully there will be more. Today we have author Temple West, and she is the author of the new release of Velvet. This is the ARC. This is a finished copy. This is not the copy you will get. It is currently in the mail on its way here, and it is a signed copy. So, yay. Can't beat that. So hard to find signed copies these days. So I will put her on here, and she can tell you about who she is and her book, and then we will dive into the questions. Okay.
I'm on. Okay. Hi. Hello, everyone. I'm Temple West, as Jessica said. I'm the author of Velvet, which is my debut novel from Swoon Reads, which is a YA romance imprint of Macmillan. So it's a brand new division of them. Basically, it's less than 2 years old. And I wrote a novel about vampires, but it's kind of a snarky, witty, humorous book about vampires rather than completely serious. So it's about this girl who finds herself under the protection of a vampire bodyguard while dealing with high school and grief and growing up. So that is the very short version of the story.
Well, I forgot to ask you, since you're the only one on here, would you like to share like a little read from the book at all? Or?
Oh gosh, I could. Should I pick a certain chapter, or how does that work?
No. You can pick whatever you want.
Oh, one of the things we did on an author tour was someone picked a number, and I had to read that page out loud at random. So if someone wants to
pick
submit a number.
Forgot what side my mic was on. I am all dead today, I swear. I've been trying to trade books on YouTube, on Twitter all morning, and I go to type the word, and I'm like, that is not what that's supposed to say. Okay, somebody said 27.
27, all right. Hopefully this works, because last time it was like a really sad page, and it wasn't one of the funny pages, so it was a little...
I was like, if you're going to go by chapters, that's too big of a number. There is no number 27.
Doop-a-doo. Okay. So the main characters are Adrian and Caitlin. Caitlin is our protagonist. It's a first-person narrative, so it's all from her perspective, just to set that up. Okay. And the other character in the scene is Nora, her cousin, whom she has just met several days previous. Hey, she said. Mom called the office. She and Dad are having a problem with one of the horses, so they can't come pick us up. I usually throw my bike in the back of Molly's mom's truck, and she said she could take you too. Before I could respond, Adrian stood. Actually, if you don't mind, I was going to take Caitlin home. We looked in tandem at Adrian. Then Nora turned to me, obviously expecting an explanation. Yeah, I said belatedly. Tell Molly I said thanks, though. All right, well, see you at home. Nora was wide-eyed as she walked off. As we left the library, snaking our way through the rush of students, it took about 0.3 seconds for everyone to notice that I was walking with Adrian. And I mean everyone. Parents, students, even the faculty heading for their busted-up cars. I very much got the impression that Adrian was a big deal here, and Adrian deviating from the norm was practically unheard of, based on everyone's reactions. Distracted by our audience, it took me about 6 seconds to realize what vehicle Adrian was heading toward. I stopped dead. You're kidding me. Ignoring me, he had unlocked a helmet from the seat of a matte black Harley-Davidson. I walked up to him, knowing and not caring that everyone had stopped to watch us. You drive a motorcycle. Yeah. He put his sunglasses on. I couldn't stop staring. You drive a Harley. He handed me a helmet, then settled onto the bike. Yeah. And that's that page.
It was actually a good page to choose.
It was a decent one. It's not one of the... There's lots of good, juicy dialogue bits, and that wasn't quite one of them, but it was still fun scene.
I love the part that happens before that. I think, it's been a while since I read this. I should have reread it. What are they, at a party or something, and and he tried to take her home at that point or something, and she's like, no, and now she understands why, because he doesn't exactly drop car.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. Currently, right now, just so everybody knows, it is on sale for $7.66 on Amazon in paperback and on Kindle for $7.09, which I'm actually going to go grab it on Kindle as well. So I have it in all formats because that's just better. Okay, so let's see. In the paperback, you get some really nice extra stuff that I did not know because this came in the mail, and I just kind of I scanned it in, put it on my shelf, and then just kind of left it there and never actually looked at it. So, of course, it has acknowledgments in it, as usual, but then it has this cool thing for, which I guess if I put this back to my camera, Moon Extras. So, what is all the extras that we get in this
All
paperback?
the good stuff. Like he has acknowledgments, and then they did a sort of actually very similar to this. It was a Google Hangout with my editor and me, and she asked me questions, and they did sort of an interview with me, and they transcribed my answers. So that's why like some of the sentence structure is a little funky because it's literally what I was speaking to them over video chat. So yeah, they asked me questions about the book and about my favorite superpowers, etc., and I answered them. And then they also have discussion questions, sort of like book club-esque discussion questions at the back, as well as the first chapter of another Swoon book, Love, Fortunes, and Other Disasters by Kim Corrales, which is a fantastic book. And I think Kim is also a wonderful human being, and I just met her in person last week, so that's pretty cool.
That one actually comes up when you go look at your book. I just saw it on there. I love the cover to that one, too.
I love her cover. Oh my gosh, it's just the cutest thing I've ever seen.
I love it because this cover like fits the story perfectly. I mean, it really does because it actually happens, in the book.
Right.
It doesn't happen very often.
They actually took a scene from the book.
Yeah. Did you get a lot of say in the cover, or was it just like, here's your cover, love it or hate it?
I think I got more input than a lot of authors get. They did ask me like if I had any style preferences or anything, and I said I want something really simple and bold and sort of iconic, which I think they really delivered with this very grayscale and red cover. And then actually what Swoon Reads does is they're all about being like sort of community oriented and user based from choosing their books to choosing the covers. So they actually created 5 different covers for my book and then put it up on the Swoon Reads website, and the community voted on their favorite one, and that's literally how the cover was chosen, is everyone's favorite was this cover. And it was my favorite too. Cool. So yeah, that was really awesome to be like a part of the publishing process, even if it's not your book.
So is there like a specific place that you can do that on their site, or is it like specific to?
Yeah, they. I think they post it in their blog section. So every time they do, like, they post. They choose like up 3 to 5 books per round, basically. And a couple months after that, they start doing the cover competitions. So they'll post it on their blog. Vote on your favorite one, and you can give it like I think 1 to 5 hearts or 1 to 5 stars. And I think you can vote as many times as you want. I think. And yeah, so it's on their website on the blog section.
Actually, I just see one on there, the winning cover for Love, Lies, and Spies.
Yeah, they just did that one.
To toss their link over here onto the chat, so if you guys want to check out them, you can. And I'm losing all my links over here somewhere. Okay, there we go. Oy. All right, so I said when I was reading your book that it was kind of reminded me of Twilight. But to me, that's good because I love Twilight. I've got tattoos from Twilight, so
that's awesome.
So that was perfectly fine by me. Have you heard that a lot?
I have heard that a lot, and I get it because on the surface, like when it comes to like bare factual nuggets about what the book is, there are some parallels. But I think when you get right down to it, and especially moving into books 2 and 3, because it will be a trilogy, it really starts to deviate and become much more of it's like a totally different mythology, different narrative structure, and I think, yeah, I get the similarities, but it's also I think it's its own independent story as well.
When is book 2 due out?
We don't have a firm publication date yet, but roughly a year from now.
Are you done with it?
I am not. I'm working very hard on it right now.
Are we going to get more of her cousin at all? Because I thought that, I mean, she's still there, but she's kind of like away, she's
Right.
just kind of off in the shadows.
A lot of the characters that you kind of see in the first book but don't get a lot of screen time, if you will, are going to become more important as the series progresses, either in book 2 or book 3 or both. And everyone is going to be developed a lot more, including all of her friends from high school. Obviously, all of Adrian's family. There's going to be a whole cast of new characters in book 2 that comes in to sort of deal with the repercussions of the end of the first book, as well as obviously Caitlin learning more about herself and her role in the world.
So where did you get the idea for Velvet?
Way back in high school, actually. I'd always loved vampire novels, from like Anne Rice to Twilight, like the whole full spectrum of like really dark vampire stories to really kind of lighter, more modern vampire stories. But Velvet came from the idea of the Old Testament of the Bible, actually. There's these few scattered verses about this race of people called the Nephilim, which are half angel, half human. And I think they were called the men of old, the men of renown. Like, some people thought they were giants, but there's really not that much about them in the Old Testament, but it's like a historical document that mentions these like mythical creatures. So I'm like, that's really fascinating. I wonder if like I could make that like the origin story of vampires. So that's where the first seed of the idea for Velvet came. I ended up scrapping that idea. Like, I've changed what their origin story is, so it's not that anymore. But that was the sort of push to write the story. Was that idea of what vampires could be, that what they hadn't been traditionally in other stories.
I actually really liked how you did their backstory for the vampires, because I was thinking it was going to be more along the lines of just the normal everyday thing, and what you did, it was something that a lot of people haven't done, so it was really interesting.
Thank you.
Flipping through this book here. How did you come up with all the chapter titles?
Some are just direct quotes from like a sentence or a bit of dialogue that happens in the chapter, and then some of them are like, what is the funniest summary I can think of for just the themes of this chapter or whatever. I tried to make them interesting, because like, that's kind of a place where you get a little bit of creative freedom, is the chapter titles. Some people don't have chapter titles, but I'm like, I might as well amuse you from the beginning, if I can, with what these chapters are called. So, yes.
Do you have a favorite one?
Probably Does Your Uncle Own a Shotgun?
That was actually one of the ones that, that was chapter 3. It was one of the ones that I was like, I'm putting my fingers in here, picking out all the ones. I remember when I started the ARC, and the first one is called Fiery Tornado of Doom, and I just burst out laughing, and everybody's like looking at me like, what is your problem? I do that a lot. I did that a lot through this book, because it was a really good blend of, the romance, suspense, and then the hilariousness of stuff. And I really loved your chapter titles. They really reminded me of what is it? Jacob's chapter titles in Breaking Dawn. They're just hilarious. They will make you want to laugh out loud forever. Okay, let's see. One of the questions that we got submitted is, where do you enjoy writing?
Airplanes and cafes. For some reason, it's like the perfect amount of white noise and confined space and uncomfortable chairs. Like, if I'm too comfortable or if I'm at home, I can get a snack, and I just get super distracted. So I need to be somewhere where I'm like, I can't easily go to the bathroom or go to the kitchen or go anywhere. I need to be like there and surrounded by people chatting or white noise of some sort. So
I think it's so cool because, like, from a reader's point of view, I do the same thing. If I'm here at the house and my mom starts talking or the TV's going, it irritates the crap out of me, but I can read in, like, the movie theater.
Yeah.
And it's loud, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Because you don't have to pay attention to it, but it's not silent. So if it's too quiet, I'm like, I just get way all, like, shiny things are everywhere. Oh, there's sunlight. So, yeah.
Did you get any writing done on your tour?
I did. I wrote like 2 chapters on the planes. Some of them were really short, and some of them I just wasn't. I got sick on the tour, like half sick for almost the whole trip, so I just wasn't feeling great. but I did get a decent chunk written on the planes.
Have you been, like, picked out of the crowd yet?
Picked out of the crowd?
Like, fans know what you look like.
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, like, my friends and family, obviously, know me. But, no, I have not gotten recognized yet. I don't know if I ever will. Do authors get recognized all that often? I feel like we're just so hermity that no one knows what we really look like.
I think some of them probably do. You know, like J.K. Rowling and Stephanie Myers.
That's true.
But then, you know, like, they're the ones
that's a level of authorship that I don't think I've quite attained yet. It's a goal, definitely, but no.
Like, well, now that I know what you look like, because, like, your picture isn't on the... Oh, wait. Because, like, this picture in the back doesn't look like you.
Yeah, well, I had my hair pinned up, and the lighting was pretty drastic, and, I'm not smiling. I kind of wish I'd chosen one where I looked less self-important.
I've noticed that a lot in author pictures. Like, they'll have them on Facebook, and then you see them in person, they don't look anything like their picture. So, like, how old is that picture?
That's about a year old. I took that for the book, but it was a year ago, so yeah.
Let's see. The next question is, what got you into writing?
You know how some people just wake up and, like, know what they want to do with their lives? I was one of those people. Like, I just loved books from, like, the second I could read. And writing was a natural extension of reading. So if I, like, ran out of books, I'd just start writing my own stories. Because I'm like, I need to read something, so I might as well write something. So, yeah, and my mom was an English teacher, or she is to this day an English teacher, so that was just sort of in our family, books, writing, literature, English, so, but other books, like Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia, has definitely sort of started that whole train of fantasy literature, paranormal stuff that I'm really interested in.
So was your mom really hard on you in school since she's a teacher?
She was, yeah, but like in a good way. Like, she wanted me to do well. She knew that I could do well, so she was, you know, it was important to her that she hold me to a really high standard because she knew I was capable of it. And if she hadn't done that, I think I would have been a lesser writer for it.
What are some of your favorite books?
I love the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series by Laini Taylor. Because of the dialogue and the world building, and it's just really stuff you haven't seen before in YA literature. Like, from the setting to the characters to the mythology, like, she just creates this unique, fascinating world that still very neatly fits into the YA genre. So yeah, she's amazing, and I love her hair because it's bright pink. Yeah, and then also Scott Lynch, his book or his series, I think the whole series is called, like, The Gentleman Bastards, but the first book is called The Lies of Locke Lamora, and it's probably my favorite book of all time. So, yeah, it's amazing.
I've heard of that one. I have
it's not YA, it's just fantasy.
Okay. That's probably why. I have the other ones, though, all in hardback. They're over there. With, like, all this other hordes of,
oh, my gosh. Books. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what everybody says, and most of this behind me, it's mostly all YA. There's very, 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 very few adult books back there. But.
Well, the Lies of Locke Lamora is one of those, like, adult fantasy novels that, like, it doesn't feel like a regular. It's very approachable. It's a very readable fantasy book. Like, the dialogue, it feels very modern, even though it's set in this sort of medieval Italian island society.
I like the name.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love the cover, too.
If you guys want to check out the books mentioned, here are the short links for those.
You're so fast.
It pays because I have a 27-inch iMac that this is on, so I have screen.
Nice, nice.
I was doing this on my little bitty 11-inch laptop, and I'm like, no, it's just
too hard.
No, the people, they're fine. You guys can see the bed. I'll well deal with it. You'll survive. Okay. Let's see. My next question is, if you could write a book with another author, who would it be?
Oh, well, I mean, it'd be the same two people. Yeah, if I could like just somehow become the child of Laini Taylor and Scott Lynch, I feel like the world would be right and I would be happy. I mean, I'm happy as is, but you know, like they're just amazing authors, and they both do really good world building and really good dialogue and character development. So it's like it's fascinating. Yeah.
So if you had to choose, or if you got to choose the two people who would be the lead roles for your main characters, who would it be?
This is such a hard question because there are so many good options, but I love Kat Graham from Vampire Diaries. She plays Bonnie on Vampire Diaries. And I know she's like kind of too old to be Caitlin, but I love her, and I just think she brings sort of an honesty and intensity to her role on Vampire Diaries that would serve Caitlin's character really well. And then kind of the same problem of the actor is probably too old, but I really love Logan Lerman for Adrian. He might not be enough of a badass on the surface, but Adrian's character is really more of a nerd than he is a badass, so I think it would actually work out pretty well. And I loved him in Perks of Being a Wallflower. Like, that was an amazing movie. So.
Now, do you think you would get any flack out of that because the girl on here is white?
well, the funny thing is, like, when you read Velvet, I don't actually physically describe Caitlin hardly at all.
Mm-hmm.
So they just chose a stock photo, I think, for the cover. Like, I think it wasn't based on a description from the book. They just chose one where she was lying down in the snow. So technically, Kat Graham would be fine because we don't actually exactly know what Caitlin looks like. I kind of left it vague so that you could picture whatever you wanted to picture since it's a first-person narrative. So
they're doing that with the Shadow Hunters right now. They're posting all the things, and everybody was all up in flames because Luke is black now, and it's like, you know, they didn't have any descriptions like that, which I think that's actually better because then it's open to interpretation.
Right. And I just couldn't find a natural way for her to describe herself that didn't feel like it was an author trying to make a character describe herself. So I never felt like you were missing a description of her. Like when I read it, well, I've read it so many times now. When I read it back, it's like a picture of her kind of pops up into my mind, but I never actually describe what she looks like in that kind of detail. So I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't
Maybe
have any
I'm
problems
cheating.
with the book,
I don't know.
So. I didn't have any problems with it, so yes. Let's see. Do you write full time, or do you also have an outside job?
I have an outside job, but my outside job is writing, so it is all the time. I write commercial scripts for like small businesses and training videos and for like radio, television, and websites and YouTube and stuff. Cool. So yeah, it's a freelance position, so it's, you know, as projects come, and then sometimes I, you know, work on like music video sets or do extra work on like Nashville, the show and stuff. So
have you done anything that we would know about?
Well, I was an extra on Nashville, but like it's like crowd stuff, so you wouldn't see me.
Well, that's still kind of neat, though.
It's fun. Yeah, it's really fascinating to see a production of that scale, just from the sort of the sidelines of being an extra, because you get to kind of just observe for the whole day what the crew is doing, what the cast is doing, like these huge warehouses where they film. It's really interesting.
Okay, let's see. What do you think is more important, plots or character?
Character. Well, character. But plots are also very important. I think you really need to have a balance of telling a compelling story and having compelling characters who care about something deeply enough to go after it. So that's a hard question. It's almost like a trick question. But
it's an evil question.
If gun to my head, I'd say characters.
Okay, if they want to get a signed copy and they're not fortunate enough to win the one that's coming in the mail, is there a store that is selling them on a way that they can get them?
Every store that we went to on our author tour has signed copies. Those are listed on my website on the news and event pages, so they should link directly to each store that we were at.
I will copy your link into here.
Yeah. And those cities were Cincinnati. Well, I guess Dallas was just the convention, so I don't know if they actually put them in a bookstore or not. I'm not really sure about that one. But there was also San Francisco, Seattle, Chicago, Saratoga Springs, and East Brunswick, New Jersey.
Wow, they just made you guys go everywhere, huh?
We were on lots of planes, but it was fun. It was a great time.
Florida, though.
I know! And Kim's from Florida, so she had to come from Florida, but we didn't get to go to Florida, so it was very sad. We were all, like, we're on this bid to have Swoon Reads do an event at, like, Disney World so that we have an excuse to go to Disney World.
Well, that would work, because I have annual passes to Disney World, so, like, time and place, let me know.
We're working on it.
I've done that before. Last year, I think that was that was this year. Sarah B. Larson of Defy was on her wedding anniversary, and she met with us at Universal to get my books signed.
That's awesome. That's dedication, man. If it's was it her honeymoon or was it?
No, it was her wedding anniversary.
Oh, anniversary.
They were here for her anniversary.
Man,
I'm like, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Authors are willing to do that.
Oh yeah, and that's the fun part of all of it, you know. So that's awesome.
Okay, let's see.
Mom, can I have a donut?
Sure, you can have a donut. Yay, donuts! I knew that was going to happen sooner or later. It was only a matter of time. Okay, I lost my thing for question. Okay, ballpoint pen, Uniball, fountain pen, pencil, iPad, iPhone,
well,
I don't know, typewriter.
I do have a typewriter that works. For, like, writing, like, heavy-duty stuff, I use Scrivener on my laptop. But for, like, notes, I use these Varsity Pilot fountain pens.
Oh, the calligraphy pens.
Yeah. And they're super cheap. They come in, like, 20 packs on Amazon, so.
Oh, wow.
But you can't use those on planes. That's true. But you can't use those on planes because the pressure change causes them to, like, explode. And I learned that the hard way.
Well,
I had ink all over my hands for like 2 days. So
not fun. Will it will it be fine if you don't use it? Or
yes.
Like, okay, I was like, or just don't take it on the plane at all.
You know, I actually haven't used those pens since I've been on all these planes, so I will let you know if.
So if your next picture we see you and you're like black head to toe, we know that the pen exploded.
Yes. Hopefully that's the explanation for that.
Okay. There was a really good question that popped up, and then I moved the window to go check Amazon, and now I lost it.
Oh, no.
That's always fun. Okay, let's see. We did that one. Do you have a favorite part of your book?
I have several favorite parts. For spoilery sakes, I will not mention some of them, but one of my favorite parts is just all of Chapter 4, basically the Halloween party scene. There's lots of fun moments in it, and shenanigans, and good dialogue, and banter. So, yeah, I think it's called Weird World. Yes. Chapter 4. Yes.
So weird that this thing is so. I'm used to books being like this. They're not bendy.
Right. Yeah. This is a very malleable book. Stuff in your purse. Yeah.
Let's see. The next question: did you keep any of your ARCs?
I think I have 1 or 2. I only got 1 or 2 though. So no, I got like 5. I must have shipped them to people. I don't know what I don't know. I have some. I don't know what I did with the rest of them. I should find that out. I know I have at least 1 at home. And I have no idea what happened to the others.
See, the next question is that a tattoo on your left arm?
Yes, it is. This is a tattoo. Just a band, 2 bands all the way around. And these are bracelets.
Does it stand for anything?
Yeah, well, yeah. I just liked the design and thought it was really simple and elegant and would work with like dressier stuff if I wanted to dress up. But then also it's the idea of good or bad, life goes on. You're always going to keep, unless you mature and actively resolve to overcome things, you're going to run into the same problems, good or bad. So it's up to you to grow, I guess.
The next question is, I felt that the ending was a little bit rushed. Was there a reason why you sped it up?
Sped it up. The
ending.
Ending. It's possible that was just an effect of having such a compressed editing schedule. A lot of books take 1 to 2 years to go through that whole revision process, and I think our revision process was like 5 months.
Oh, wow.
So we had really tight deadlines. So there was just not a lot of turnaround time on getting stuff finished or edited and then reviewed again. So there's a lot of stuff that, you know, I even now I wish I could change about it or smooth out or, you know, whatever, which I think is pretty standard across all authors. But I don't know. So it's probably more of an accident of revision than anything else.
I did not see that ending coming. It was a very good ending, though.
Thank you.
Without giving the spoilers.
Some people were very upset because they thought it was a standalone book, and so they were like,
I thought it was, but I went and looked it up and I found it on your site stating that it was a series. I'm like,
yes, yeah. I would not have ended a book that way if there's not more to the story, and that would be way too mean. So yeah.
If you haven't read Velvet, that I know that I stayed up late to finish this, and when the one section of the ending when you find out what's going on, I was just like, ugh. Probably scared people in the house. Okay, let's see. What advice would you give to aspiring writers?
I'll throw a couple wisdom nuggets at you. One, write a story that you want to read. Some people start writing out stories that they don't actually like, or is like a genre that they don't read or whatever, and then they get stuck. And the problem is you're not writing a story that you like. So there's that. Another one is obviously to study other authors or other movies that are like your favorites and that you come to again and again. That is something you're always in the mood for. And figure out what makes that story stick in your brain, what makes it classic or timeless, and what makes it work on a narrative and structural level, as well as, you know, observing their tone, their voice, their sentence structure, basically dissecting other people's stories analytically so that you can emulate not what they're doing, but how they're doing it, I guess. That'd probably be my biggest one. And then obviously there are great books. Story Structure Architect is a novel, or is a book, a writing book that I read like every time I start a new story, as well as Save the Cat, which is actually a screenwriting book, but it is very applicable to novels as well.
Swag. Did you get any swag for this series?
Do I give any swag or get any swag?
Did you get any? Did you have any swag?
I think I got a laptop case at the Romantic Times convention, but we don't have any like bookmarks or anything for any of the books, or like magnets or anything. Like I want that, but I don't know what that process is like with Swoon Reads and Macmillan, so I kind of need to like talk to them and figure out what the merchandise side of things is, and like if we can do it, or if So I don't know on that front yet.
Call up your editor. I want some swag.
I want to give some swag. I need some swag
to give away.
Yeah. Yes.
Wait, what about book plates? Do you do signed book plates?
Book plates? I don't know what a book plate is.
I can show you what a book plate is, if I can find one.
Is that like a plate with your cover embedded into the ceramic of the plate and you eat off of it?
No. What did I do with this plate?
That would be strange.
This is my swag.
Oh my. Oh my goodness. Well, with the amount of books you have in your bookshelf, that makes sense.
Yeah, this is the swag to give away, actually. Oh, here we go. Okay. It's like, I know I have book plates in here somewhere. This is a book plate, for those who don't know. It's basically a sticker.
Oh.
Some of them are more decorative than others, but then it's just something that you sign. Like this one just says signed by the author, she signed it, and then it has Embrace the Magic on it.
Interesting.
So they're basically just stickers. I mean, if you want to go the cheapy route, but you know, people just want stuff signed, get a thing of address labels. It works.
Oh man. Okay, so bookplates. All right,
Book
I don't
plates.
have any, but
Book plates are awesome.
I will get on that internet, and I will see what I can come up with.
Whew. Then you have like the who was it? Heather or Catherine Peacock from Thornhill. She went all out. They're like all decorative. They've got like vines and stuff all over them. Yeah,
That sounds lovely.
they're really neat. Let's see. Oh, somebody else has a question. I heard the pop-up. I know some of my people that are part of my book club and stuff, they had questions, but they're like out of their Wi-Fi area.
Oh no!
So they couldn't like sit here and watch. I'm like, well, you know the drill. You know, just send me your questions. I will ask them. You can watch it later. That's fine. But while she's doing that, what do you have a favorite quote from your book?
Probably. Well, there are several pretty good ones, but probably one of my favorites is if you tell anyone I was the little spoon, there will be consequences, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense out of context, but in that scene, it's one of my favorites.
And do you know what chapter that's in?
I think that's near the Christmas chapter. Doop-a-doop-doo. Maybe. I think it's chapter. Yeah. 13?
If you have this on Kindle, you can search for it now, which I think that's kind of cool.
Yes, page 233 of this copy.
You have to have this copy to find
I mean, as opposed to the ARC.
Yes, because as you guys can see this here, if I can like hold this, this is the ARC, this is the finished copy. It is significantly skinnier.
Yes. Not because it's shorter, they just changed the paper type, etc.
Yes. Because with this one, I can't get over that. You know, this one doesn't really bend all that much. This one is like flippy floppy.
Yeah. Well, the ARC, the paper is like super thick.
It is.
And then the finished copy of the paper is really, really fine. So it's interesting.
They did that with, what is it, the Blue Blood series by Melissa De La Cruz. The paperbacks are heavier than the hardbacks because the papers they used.
Oh, funny.
You could probably kill somebody with that paperback. Oh, gosh. I'm not even joking because it's not like this looks like newspaper. Their pages are white, and they're like really, really heavy.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. Let's see. Next one. You have a trailer for your book, right?
I have like 4 out, and we're actually literally, when I'm done with this, we're going to go work on the last one. So
okay.
One more is coming.
I'm guessing those are on your website as well, correct?
They're on my website and on my YouTube page. Well, they're hosted on my YouTube page, but you can find them either place.
Let me go find your YouTube page.
Yeah, I don't have a custom URL on there yet, which is unfortunate, but if you search like Velvet Trailer Temple West, you should be able to find it.
Next question, if I can find, I keep losing all my tabs, is from Erin from Jump Into Books. And she wants to know, do you listen to music while writing? And if so, what do you listen to and why?
It depends. If I'm at a cafe and I'm in a groove, there's like enough people there that there's white noise, I tend not to listen to music. If I, for some reason I'm writing at home or writing somewhere where there's not a lot of white noise, I will listen to instrumental music, so a lot of movie soundtracks, a lot of like Enya, because even though she's talking, I can't tell what she's saying. So basically anything where there's not lyrics or understandable words. And then I start listening to the song.
I will later. Go out. Go. I'm doing my show. Go have Sissy do it. She's like all concerned that she wants her hair smooth. No, it has to be smooth. She's 4. She's weird.
My niece is 5, so I have, yes.
It's so much fun.
It's a good age.
I want to forge her birth certificate so she can start school later this year. She was born in November. She doesn't get to start till next year. Okay, let's see. The next question is, if you could spend the day with anybody, fictional or real, who would you choose and why?
Oh. Oh, man.
No.
You can answer the question. I'll mute this.
Sounds good. Ooh, that is so difficult. Real or fictional? That's the entire universe of people to choose from. No pressure. I would have to go with maybe the Man in Black from Princess Bride, or anyone from Princess Bride, or Chewbacca. He seems like he'd be pretty fun to hang out with. We'd have good times. We'd go bowling, and then he'd get into a brawl, and we'd have to leave. No, maybe I think probably the Man in Black from Princess Bride. Oh, was I supposed to ask what I would ask them? Was that part of the question?
It was if you could spend the day with anyone, fictional or real, who would you choose and why?
Yeah. Well, basically the whole cast of The Princess Bride, but in the world of The Princess Bride. So.
But would it be The Princess Bride via the movies or the books?
I haven't read the books, so it'd be the movies.
Yeah, I haven't read the books either.
And movies, I mean movie, singular. Unless there's another one I don't know about. There's two?
There's two? No, never mind. I'm thinking of Princess Diaries. Never mind.
Ah. Very, very close. Stories.
No, I keep doing that. Who is it? Amy Plum and somebody else. They have a book after the end and in the after, and I'm constantly tweeting to them and screwing up their titles. This has not been a good week for Jessica.
Well, that makes sense though. Those are very like similar but mixed up titles of each other.
I had to put them like 3 weeks apart for the reviews. Let's see. The next question is, what is your inspiration for writing?
Generally, it's other media. Whether it's books, sometimes it's a song, sometimes it's a TV show or a movie. There's actually one time that I watched a commercial for a show called Dark Blue, I think. I think it was like a cop show. I never actually watched the show, but the trailer, or like the commercial for the show before the season even came out, inspired me to write a 2-hour pilot for my own TV show. So it's definitely, when I see really good stories or other people doing good art, that makes me inspired to do my own, more often than anything, I think.
Were there any mistakes that you made while creating your book that you know not to do again?
Oh, gosh. How much time do you have? Yes. I feel like that's a dangerous question to answer. Mistake / just frustrating experience was the first chapter, definitely. I mean, I will never again have a first chapter where there's only one line of dialogue and it's the last sentence. That's just bad. I don't like to read a whole chapter where it's just blocks of action. I like dialogue, and I try to break it up as much as possible. But that's just difficult to look at on the page. A visual thing that you don't necessarily think about when you're writing a story, but when you actually have a book in your hands, that's important. So there's that. And then, oh gosh, I don't know. So many things. If I'd had a little bit more time in the revision process, I think I would have liked to go through the whole book and read it out loud, or even like have actors read different characters, just to make sure things sounded natural and to see where the like hiccups were in like the tone. Because again, I wrote this book over 6 years, basically. Like I wrote the first draft 6 years ago, and then spent the last year revising it. So trying to match my voice from 6 years ago to revisions from now didn't always go as smoothly as I wished it would have, just because I'd written it so long ago. But lots of learning moments in getting this book published.
It's a long time.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Do you read your reviews?
Mostly. So having never been published before, my publishers did tell me like it's just a good idea to not read the bad reviews. Like, it's just, you can't respond to them, you can't defend yourself, like, you can't interact with people who leave bad reviews. So it's just better not to read them because it's going to get in your head, it's going to mess you up, it's going to make you second guess yourself, and it's going to be really difficult to write book 2, especially when it's a series because it's the same world that they're criticizing. So, of course, I ignored this at the beginning and was like, I have a review, yay! So it went from like getting like a couple 5-star reviews to getting like a 1-star review, and I think someone said, I wish I could give this book 0 stars. And that just like straight knife to the heart, like shouldn't have affected me as much as it did, but it hurt really bad. And so I've gotten a lot better about if it's, like, what's my rule? Definitely if it's 2 stars or less, I just don't even look at it because I know it's going to just get inside my head a little bit too much. And it's not because I don't want criticism. It's just that it's really difficult to read mean-spirited criticism rather than constructive negative criticism. And I never know what it's going to be until I read it. And because it's too hard, it's just better to not subject myself to it at all. So I do try to find all the like 3 stars or above and like thank people for the reviews and post the reviews as much as possible. But sometimes they get mixed up and it's hard to see sometimes, especially when it's on blogs instead of Goodreads. So I'm still figuring that system out, definitely. Yeah.
Well, right now, I mean, via Goodreads, you have 149 reviews on there. Or I guess you have 91 reviews, 149 ratings, and the average stars is 4.01. So
yeah, which I'm very happy with. That is a fantastic score in my opinion.
I'm saying I think that's really good. And guys, there's videos on there on the side of that as well via Goodreads. I guess I could put that link up there too. If you've read this, write a review. That one. Okay, let's see. The next question is, if they want to contact you or interact with you, where's the best social media to do that?
Twitter is a great place. I have a Tumblr, but I'm not very good at using it still. I mostly just post Instagram pictures there. So it's just not as intuitive for me to use Tumblr. So Twitter is definitely a great place. I just created a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/bytemplewest, B-Y Temple West, which is also my Twitter handle is bytemplewest. So those are 2 great places. If you have other inquiries or stuff that you prefer not to be seen on public for some reason, like you want to request something or I don't know, there's a contact form on my website as well.
I just posted your Facebook link, and I'm writing Twitter in Twitter instead of by Temple West. Oh my goodness! It said my brain it's dead today.
It said obviously I can't even speak, so same. Oh, I need more sleep. We all need more sleep.
Fun. Let's see. Like some of these we've already covered. And they're just the same thing, but reworded.
I'm almost out of caffeine. Sad days.
What
the water would be enough, but it's Coke.
It never is. What are you reading right now?
I just finished, so I guess I'm not technically reading anymore, but I just finished An Ember in the Ashes and I don't know if I could actually pronounce it correctly. Sabat Tahir, I think, is how you say it. I've never heard it out loud before, but it's sort of this like Roman Empire-esque political system in a fantasy world. So it's really interesting. It's told from 4 different perspectives for 2 girls and 2 guys. Wait, no. Is it 2 girls and 2 guys? I might be mixing that up. It's several perspectives of characters, and it's really good. It's going to be a series as well, so I liked it.
Oh, that comes from the library. Okay, let's see. Why did you decide to go with traditional publishing?
Well, when I first wrote the book, I wrote it just for fun. Like, I just wanted to write a book. It wasn't necessarily to be published, but I'm like, well, I wrote a book, so I might as well try and get it published. So shortly after that, I spent several months querying agents and trying to get representation. Didn't really know what I was doing. Like, tried to do some research on, like, how to write a query letter, but just did it badly. And so I don't blame any of the literary agents for not choosing my book to represent. So after I did that for a month or two, I'm like, okay, this was fun, but, you know, I'm a full-time student. I am working several part-time jobs. Like, I just don't have the time to try and figure out this whole publishing system to get my book published. So I'm putting this on the back burner. Yeah, this was fun, but I have other priorities. So then after college, I was like, I have this book just sitting on my hard drive, and it's a decent book. Like, I read through it, and I'm like, oh, I really like this. You know, I wrote it a while ago, but this is still a good book. So I was thinking that I would actually self-publish it, like through Amazon or something. And right around when I was thinking that is when I heard about Spoon Reads. And I'm like, wow, there are only, I think at the time when I submitted this, there's only 205 other manuscripts on the site. So it was, instead of me versus thousands of unpublished manuscripts at a literary agent or publishing house, I'm only up against 200 other manuscripts. So I've got a very good chance of being published this round because there's just, you know, the competition isn't huge yet because this is a new imprint and not a lot of people have heard of it quite yet. So that there's no reason not to submit. And, like, literally, I read through the fine print and the terms and conditions, and, like, there's nothing in it that's, like, they don't have rights to the book, they don't get to keep the book. The only thing is they want the book up on the site exclusively for 6 months. Like, you can't submit to other publishers while it's on their site. That was the only downside, though. And you get free feedback, and you get exposure to publishers, and editors are reading your book at a real publishing place. So I submitted it, and 30 days later, I found out it was being published. So that's why the turnaround on this has been amazing. Like, yeah, it's been incredible.
See, well, this is one of your fans, and they said that the way that you described the vampires was such a scientific explanation that it was genius, and that they loved the fact that by the time that Caitlin and Adrian started their romance, that they were more like close friends versus that, you know, insta love.
Right.
So they really liked your book.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Let's see. Here's another one that says that they loved the inner monologue, that it was perfect. Let's see. Here's a question. They want to know that in any of the other two books, are they all going to be from Caitlin's perspective, or are you going to have any where they're going to go back and forth?
I was not planning on having any where they go back and forth, not because I don't think I could write it, just because I didn't want to. I kind of like the idea that you only know as much as Caitlin does, and that you're discovering things alongside her as she discovers more about what's going on and what the world is and all that.
Next question is, are there going to be any novellas?
Ooh. Again, nothing is planned, but I wouldn't count it out, especially there's a character coming up in the second book that I love. Like, she is one of my favorite characters of the whole series so far. You haven't even met her yet. So she would be an interesting, like, side story to go explore, potentially, but nothing's technically planned for that, so.
That'd be a really cool thing to do for Adrian. Adrian's backstory. That would be a really cool novella.
His growing up years all across.
Yeah.
So many possibilities.
Let's see. This person wanted you to know that. Ooh, I lost it. Ooh, where'd it go? Oh, that your book was unique and imaginative, and they enjoyed it, and that the emotional approach to your vampires/demons was amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's see. Somebody just commented, grabby hands.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. I did that when this came out. I was like, yay, and then put it on the shelf. I need to. Are there any differences between the ARC and the finished copy other than just like the thickness and normal like typos and stuff like that? Has any of the core story changed at all?
I honestly don't remember. I think there's a couple like small sentence structure things that got changed, but on like a big scale, no, nothing. It's basically the same book. I think it was a couple rewordings of a couple sentences, but that's it.
Remember an ARC a while back ago that the finished copy, it was like, yeah, it's just simple things that got changed, where like the guy's hands were tied together, but yet 2 pages later he opens a door. That doesn't work.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's magic.
Let's see, who designed your book covers?
The internal design team at Macmillan. I think it actually
Yeah, it's on the back of it.
On the
Rich Deas or Diaz?
Deas? Dees? D-E-A-S. Rich D-E-A-S and Kathleen Brightenfeld. And the photos by John Barkett, apparently. So yes. It's an interesting question. I haven't gotten that one yet.
And they did a wonderful job with it as well.
Yeah. And it's so shiny.
Gorgeous.
Like when they chose this cover, I didn't know it was going to be foil. So I got these in the mail. I'm like, what? It's shiny? Like that just made my whole like year knowing that this was shiny.
Like if this does really, really well, which I really, really hope it does, like a special collector's edition would be awesome for like the sides of it to be foil, like they did the Hunger Games ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would be awesome, because that would really make this stand out a lot more if like this was all that bright red.
Right. Yeah. I just like to like put it under the light and like shimmy it.
Well, I think you can feel it. It's it's raised a little bit. That's really nice.
Yeah. I'm very, very happy with how they designed the cover.
Let's see. Did you come up with the title, or did somebody else come up with the title?
Yeah, that's actually, it's strange because a lot of the other Swing Reads titles have been modified or completely changed, and Velvet was always the title of this book, from the first chapter. And I like tossed around like dozens of other titles in my mind, and nothing ever really stuck. And so once it came to time to publish it, I actually asked, like, are you going to change the title? And they're like, no, we love it. So it's like, great, I like it too.
So how did you come up with the title of Velvet?
I wanted something really short and iconic. And I like the way like the letters involved in the word velvet, like the 2 V's and the L and the T. It's like tall letter, short letter, tall letter, short letter, short letter, tall letter, and it just looks, I don't know, it just looks cool. And then also, literally the fabric of velvet is kind of thematically woven throughout the first story. So each book in the series is going to be named after a different fabric.
Do you already have the titles for the other 2 books? Or?
I have the title for the second book, but I don't think I'm allowed to tell you what it is yet. So it's a fabric, is all I can say.
Cotton.
Yes. Burlap.
See. If we find your book in our local store, do you want us to face them out for you and send you pictures?
Yeah. Yes, please. Absolutely. What if I answered no to that question? Like, no, I really don't want anyone to know that my book is there. Actually, can you shove it under some other books and like pretend you didn't see it? That'd be great.
I see people doing that. Like, I'll go up there and like one book will be in front of it like this, and I'll move it, and then it's got other books behind it, and it's like they'll just pull them out and like shove it in front of there.
Oh gosh. I mean, I don't want to hide any other people's books because that would be unfair. But if you want to kind of nudge them to the front, I wouldn't mind.
See, I'm one of the ones that we have one books a million over here, and I will stand there, and I will like wait till nobody's looking, and I will move books around so that all of those books are sitting like this. So as you walk by, you see that. And this one would really work because most of them, all the other books, they're like, they're all colorful. So this one being that gray, it really makes it stand out. They did a really awesome job with that.
Yeah, I think on a lot of levels, a lot of marketing levels, the cover works really well too. So as well as being just aesthetically pleasing.
Let's see. How hard was it to go back and edit it since you did, that 6-year span.
Right. On some levels, really difficult. On some levels, not hard at all. They didn't actually make that many, like, huge changes to the book, or didn't ask for that many big changes. It was more like, chop this up, move it around, tighten this area, add this. There's one scene at the end of the book, like the very end of the book, that they made me add, and I can't tell you which one, but I thought it was hilarious that the book needed more of that. The biggest problem really was making that, like, my writing voice from 6 years ago matched my writing voice now. Like, I really, for some reason, was really into, like, page-long run-on sentences about her, like, inner monologue when she was, like, freaking out or in, like, a adrenaline-y moment. Like, these sentences would just go on and on and on. And I think that seemed really clever to me 6 years ago, and then I read it again, I'm like, oh, no, this is just a headache to read. So got rid of pretty much all of those, and, just stuff like that. So matching voice was a time-consuming project.
Email me later. I want to know what had to get added.
Yes, I will tell you.
Okay, the next question is what is with the little needles in the spaces?
So I wrote these chapters with sort of like staccato-y scenes. I'm a screenwriter as well, so some of my novel writing leaks into my screenplays, and some of my screenplays leaks into my novel writing. So I cut out all the boring bits, and the way I transition between those spaces where nothing is happening is I put like 3 dots, like asterisks almost in between scenes, basically within a chapter. And so they changed those asterisks to a symbol, which is also on the spine of the book, which is like sort of the symbol that they chose for Velvet of a needle and thread. So they're just basically ways to break up scenes, if you will.
See, the next question is, for what do you prefer, the whole controversy, ebooks or print?
I am very torn, because obviously as an author, I love seeing this. Like, there's nothing that's going to beat holding my own book in my own hands and being able to hand it to someone, or seeing pictures of my book in stores that other people have found across the country or whatever. As a reader, it's often just more convenient to buy an ebook, especially because I move a lot. Like, I move all the time. So I recently moved from Seattle to Nashville and just packed up my compact car. Like, I had to pare down from like 300 books to like 50 because I just couldn't fit that many books in my car. So it's hard when having an ebook is more convenient, but having a paper book is so much more satisfying. So I'm torn. Yes.
And the last question, because we are actually 2 minutes over, is going to be if book clubs or schools, if they want you to Skype or Google Plus or whatever, how would they need to contact you to do that?
Oh, probably through the contact form on my website would be the easiest way to do that. But that'd be awesome. I'd love to do that.
So I'm actually going to go toss this book, even though I've already read it. I read it as an ARC. I want to read it as a finished copy. I'm going to go put it on my online book club, like, right now.
Yes.
Yeah. It has been added. All right. Like, everybody in my book club is asking questions, so I'll just add it and be done with it. All right. And thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Please come back for book 2.
I will definitely.
I will be, like, swooning over a copy of book 2, ARC. I want it now.
As soon as I'm done, I will let you know.
All right, and are there any other questions that I didn't ask that you want to let everybody know?
Oh, I'm sure there are. My brain is not working today, though. I hope you guys enjoyed the book, yes, let me know if you do.
When will the new trailer be out that you said that you're going to dash off to go do when you're done here?
This coming week. I don't know exactly when yet. It kind of depends. There's like lots of like BEA is happening, BookCon is happening. Oh, BookCon is happening. I'm gonna be at BookCon signing books if you're in New York at the end of the month. So that's happening. So I'm like getting prepared for that, and there's like a ton of family in town. So hopefully like Tuesday, Wednesday, I think. And I'm gonna try and do some like Instagram versions of them as well to put on Instagram, like those little 15-second videos you can do. So yes.
And all of her links are now on the feed, and I will go repost the giveaway. This will run until, I had to look it up, a week from now. So about a week, and by that time I think the book should be here by then.
It's supposed to be there by Tuesday, I'm sorry.
Will there be international copies of these?
Yes.
They're overseas. I
not everywhere, but definitely in the UK. I believe in India and New Zealand. I think those are the three that they're in right now.
Places.
Yeah, I think it just came out in the UK on May 21st. It had a different publication date in the UK. But it is there. And it's got a slightly different cover. It's got her dress is red. Yeah. It's not shiny, I don't think, and her dress is red instead of white. But I think that's the only, and like the size and shape of the book itself is slightly different. And the back is different on the UK version.
If you could have like one person on the back of this one just popped up and I thought it was interesting. If you could have one person on the back of your book stating that your book was awesome, who would it be?
Oh no! I can't choose. J.K. Rowling, Laini Taylor, or Scott Lynch. Yeah, probably Laini Taylor. If I could get, Laini Taylor.
You've got 3 on there, so you could just get all of them.
Yes. Well, sure. Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Oh, and somebody just wanted to know, do you have a street team?
No, not yet. I don't think so. I think if I had one, I would know, right?
Yeah, it's something that you create.
Okay, no, I didn't.
They're like, Team Velvet.
That would be awesome. No, I don't have one yet.
And it's like a group that the members of it they like share and tweet stuff for you.
That sounds fantastic.
I should get one. If you want one, let me know. I can set you up a group for that. Not a biggie.
Do that. Yes.
Okay. All right. So there will be a street team.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on, and everybody enter the giveaway. I'm actually, since it's so cheap, I will buy myself a new copy. I'm gonna give these away as well. So there's now 2 finished copies and an ARC up for grabs as well. And I don't know. I guess I'll give somebody an e-copy as well. Because this book is awesome, and everybody needs to read it, and that's just all there is to it.
Yes, that's. I agree.
It's an awesome book. All right, so thank you so much for coming on. If you need anything, let me know.
I will. Thank you so much, and thank you everyone who is watching.
Bye.
Goodbye.
All right. And for everybody else, make sure you enter the giveaway. It is now officially for 2 finished copies in print, 1 ARC in print, as well as an e-copy. So you can't beat that. And our next show, we actually don't have one. So if there is an author that you want on the show, make sure that you share this awesome little tweet to your favorite author to get them to come on the show. And hopefully if enough people do it, they will come on, because the show is awesome. So make sure you share this show with everybody that you can. You can share it via here, YouTube, and all different places. Let's get these views up, and I will see you guys later.